This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
And Doc, this week's episode of Two Bad Hombres is brought to you by DC Sports at Lakeside Mall and Sterling Heights. It is your site, go-to, and premier destination for authentic sports memorabilia and terrific autograph signings in Detroit and beyond. To find out more about DC Sports and all of the autograph signings they have coming up, including all of their great authentic sports memorabilia, both at their store and online, please follow DC Sports on Twitter at DC Sports Detroit, and make sure to check out their terrific website at DetroitCitySports.com.
I was trying to get it how I live. I want them dead presidents. I want to pull up, head spin, get it, get fly. I got 6 jobs, I don't get tired. I don't get tired. I don't get tired. I don't get tired. Get it, get fly. I got 6
And we are still not tired on this week's episode of Two Bad Hombres. I am your host, Vito Geronimo Churco, along to my usual sidekick and broadcast partner in fun. That is the Doc from Doc and Jock, John Charles Macaroon. John, how are you doing?
Vito, welcome to the weekend. Always enjoy our conversation. Lots of talk regarding what the hell people are doing. I'm looking online every single day. You know, you fire up the Twitter machine. You're looking for good news regarding the world of Detroit sports, and the topics are few and far between. But then you look around the world of life in terms of the sections of the paper I go to, and the stuff that I'm reading is really odd. And you and I, we looked at the topics and we said, oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to talk about sports, obviously, in the second half of the podcast. We're going to talk about Matthew Stafford being rated only a 79. We're going to talk about the Lions and their reactions to it. But I want to start the podcast talking to you about a couple of things that have hit major in the world of society. And I guess one of the first ones is, what do you make of this explosion, this petition, this rally, I guess, this rally cry for people to storm Area 51? Are you a guy that's into aliens? Do you believe that the United States government out there in Vegas actually has this area that is studying and researching all things aliens? Or like myself, how I believe it is, and my take on it is, I really think that it's a front. They're telling people that they're studying aliens to make it top secret. They're telling people that it's a military training ground and things like that, but I don't believe that there's anything weird going on at all around Area 51. I think it's crazy for people to think that they're going to storm it and actually find a UFO or find extraterrestrial life. But I did read along with the story that people really have gravitated toward this idea and notion that they found out the government spent like $22 million on researching like extraterrestrial stuff and weird, phenomenon and stuff like that. And so people are really, really believing that there's aliens, that Area 51 is this prime place to go, despite the fact that the government has said if you come to this area, it's a military zone, you will be shot down and vaporized. So I would never get involved in something like this. I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe in UFOs. But all this week, I've heard phone calls on the radio. I've heard people testify that they really believe in extraterrestrial phenomenon. They've seen shit flying through the sky. They believe weird shit's happening in Vegas. They think that, millions and millions and trillions of miles away, there's this life form. Come on, man. Let's get back to reality. This is something for me that I have no interest in whatsoever. I find it really weird and fascinating at the same time that people are fascinated with this Area 51.
Well, I am an alien, actually.
Okay.
That's why I don't look like my mom and dad, okay? I'm just not a little green fella. I'm a little white fella, okay? So I am an alien. But people storming Area 51, there are so many conspiracy theories out there, such as with Bigfoot, with the aliens, and the research being conducted there at Area 51 in Vegas. Who knows what is really true? I believe it's Fox. It's a front for something else as well. And if you're going to put that much money into that, into conducting extraterrestrial research, why not use that money and your resources for something that's more of a worthwhile cause, such as for studying cancer and finding a cure for cancer? That's how I view it.
Vito.
Use your funds for something like that outside of this that might never lead to anything and might be fake from the jump.
Vito, this is so funny. I just typed in Area 51 into Google, and you know what I just read on CNN.com?
What was it now?
The funniest thing ever. Bud Light, genius marketing. Bud Light is offering free beer to any alien that makes it out of Area 51.
Well, I did, so I guess I get free beer for life, right? Is this free beer for life or just for a temporary period of time or something? 'Cause I want to know now.
That's funny. I'll click on it more. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. What great marketing. I'll click on it further as we talk about it. But do you know anybody that's into the phenomenon? Do you know anybody that really is into aliens and is a hardcore believer? Because I just think that when you bring something like that up, you just get laughed at.
You do. A lot. I mean, I think I compare it to the Bigfoot phenomenon and conspiracy theory that there is a Bigfoot. Is there really such a thing as Bigfoot? And I think they really are comparable, because is there really such a thing as human life that comes from another planet that is now housed here in the United States of America or in this world on planet Earth? I tend to not believe in that, and I am kind of a conspiracy theory guy, but to believe in this phenomenon, to believe that it is true, I think it's far-fetched, John, to sum it all up. And I don't put a lot of stock in it. I'm not going to put a lot of time into looking it up myself and into potentially going there and finding out what is there. Because as you said, too, it's a military zone. Highly militarized, right? So they're going to shoot you down. You walk nearby or onto the campus of Area 51, you're going to be shot down instantaneously. So you take that risk for something that is highly unbelievable or highly, not likely to be true. I don't think it's worth the risk.
Well, the good thing, Vito, is there's a catch. The tweet, which was the way that Budweiser announced this, this tweet has to have 51,000 retweets in order for
first,
and it's got a ways to go as of now. So people are not buying into it, but they announced on Twitter, they said, screw it. If you make it out of Area 51 alien, you get free beer, but only if this tweet gets 51,000 retweets. So good on Bud. I think it's very good on Anheuser-Busch to do this. I think it's great marketing. Yeah, nobody I know, nobody that's close to me is down with the aliens. And when I saw this, I said, wow, there's a lot of people. There actually might be people that approach it, but I don't think that there's anybody that's going to be seriously going right up to Area 51. I just find it fascinating that something like this caught on. More people than you and I would think believe in this, and it's crazy to me.
Well, that Facebook event has really caught on. I mean, the word about this has spread like wildfire. And I think in this day and age of social media and the 24/7 news cycle, I think it's really caught on because of that. Where if you would have talked about this 10, 15 years ago and tried to make an event out of it, the word would not have spread nearly as much. So it has, once again, because of the day and age that we live in. And a day and age in which there are a ton of conspiracy theories, some more true or more believable than others. This one, I don't think is that believable.
Okay, so to backtrack, some believe that Area 51 is where aliens are housed. Okay?
Yes.
It's a conspiracy theory. It's in Vegas. It's not, that's not what the official use is for, okay, officially. Some people have obviously looked at government spending and where the government is allocating money, but Area 51, is not for the purpose of studying aliens, okay? It's an Air Force testing ground. So regardless of what conspiracy theory you believe, officially, Area 51 is not a spot that houses aliens. And I think that if someone went there, if you just go to time.com, they have kind of some footage of what you'll see. It's just a bunch of desert. It's where a bunch of planes go and they fly and test things up and down. Come on. I challenge anyone to produce alien videos and send it to @Detroit Podcast or
send a video of me. Send a video of me, and you'll have alien video.
Yeah. Okay, Vito. I think it's a waste of time. 1 million people, and here's the sick part: the Facebook invite to start Area 51, the invasion, was a joke. It was a joke that caught on, and that's the weirdest thing that happens is when something is not serious, when something is made to just throw something out there, catches on, and people are like, "Oh yeah, let's do it." Did you sign up for it?
Did not. Come on, man.
Like
you said, it was really a parody, meant for fun, not meant for people to try or to start storming Area 51, which, like you said, is utilized for other purposes. Is not used to house aliens. And who the hell ever started this conspiracy, by the way, regarding Area 51 as well, being this place and site for housing aliens? For extraterrestrial life that comes from other planets. Who really started that conspiracy theory, too, Doc?
Okay, so I'm on time.com, and somebody that was in there, someone named Josh Yuzura, he went up there and he said, "You can tell that they're watching you," says YouTuber Josh Yuzura, who tried to visit Area 51 3 years ago. Yozura says the area around the gate he approached was basically a desert with fields, cows, and distant mountains as far as the eye can see. Nonetheless, he could tell he was under surveillance, and he noticed guards stationed in buildings around 20 feet ahead. They're always watching, he says.
Now, what's so fun about desert land, by the way, too? Like, you're going there and you're going to witness just a bunch of desert land. What's so fun and enticing about that? And cows. You're going to see some cows moo for you real loud? I mean, what are you getting out of that? These people are just crazy, I think.
Okay, so let's take a look at it this way. Okay, Vito? Let's say of the million people, let's say this does gain momentum around the time they decide to do it, okay? And the government has said, look, this is an area that's top secret. You can't come here. This is training grounds, okay? And we will take action. We will view it as a national security threat if you approach this gate. If you come to this area, there's going to be a problem, okay? But logically speaking, if you and I are discussing it right now, let's say, for example, people did mobilize to this area in the tens of thousands. Let's say we scale it back to 50% or go down all the way to 20%. Let's say 200 to 400,000 people approach this gate. Do you think the government would nuke all those people?
Well, you said nuke. I like how you said vaporize earlier. Isn't vaporize not even a thing that's real? Can you really vaporize people? I know you said that earlier. They're going to vaporize these individuals that are walking onto the site of Area 51.
You drop a bomb and they're gone.
But you're going to nuke everybody else in Vegas, too. Kill Vegas? How much money does that make for the U.S. and the economy? Come on, Doc. You know better than that.
I'm talking, obviously, if somebody were to go rogue and try to get through the gate.
But you're saying, like, nuke them, like a nuclear bomb? Doesn't that kill everybody else, too, in Vegas? And, like, in multiple states? It's not going to be a nuke.
Okay, to be specific and argue semantics, they'll get shot down with a rifle. Okay,
how are you going to kill that many people?
Right,
they're going to just storm and keep storming. You can't kill that many people.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So that's what, don't bury the lead here. This is what I'm discussing. If that many people walked up to it, what do you think would happen? Do you think they would just have to let people just see and then disappoint everybody? Or should they just say, let's get ahead of this. Let's organize a tour. Let's make this one day where we show everybody what's happening. We scale back. All the planes stay on the river and they don't fly over. We make it so that it's user-friendly for one day, and we let all these people just walk 2 miles in and walk back. Do you think that's something that they would do? Because what would you do if 20,000 people, let's say it's a small amount, but you can't just take care of that many people. They're Americans. And like you said, you're not going to expand it by dropping a bomb on everybody. So what would you do if that many people came to the gate and were right there going, all right, I want to see what's going on? What would happen?
Well, if there are secrets to be housed there about aliens, they don't want anybody on the grounds of that campus, okay? So they wouldn't even have one day where people come and visit Area 51. Because they wouldn't want any of these people, especially once again, in the day and age of social media and a 24/7 news cycle, to be releasing this news on Twitter, on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, you name it. Because these people, be spreading these secrets like wildfire. It would not be containable. So the government would have so much trouble on their hands, they wouldn't be able to contain this. So I think even saying, hey, let them go one day to visit the site of Area 51 in Vegas, I don't think that's going to happen. It's not feasible, once again, because of the fact that these people would spread what they found out. They would spread it like wildfire. It'd be all over their personal Twitter handles and personal Facebook pages, and you name it.
Okay, Vito, if there was this mob mentality and you knew, guaranteed, there'd be 200,000 people there, we're all going to Area 51, and you're near there, would you join in?
Let's camp out. Get some beer, have some brewskis with the buddies. Yeah, make a day out of it, right? Now, would the DSP network supply the funds for me to go and cover that?
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I'm not, someone that just says, well, the government won't take care of all those people. They may, line up a bunch of guards and maybe not kill everybody.
What, shoot everybody? Like as a concentration camp?
No.
We're talking about like a concentration camp now. Come on, man.
No, but, they'll have their billy clubs and they might get to swinging. They might hurt some people.
Well, then guess what? These people that are going to Area 51 are going to bring their own bats. Just in case, because other people are thinking like you. Worst case scenario, and everybody for themselves. Well, what does that mean? It leads to just mass confusion, chaos, and it wouldn't be organized chaos.
Interesting stuff there. Oh, my goodness. Well, Area 51, I'm fascinated to see how that's going to go. But the other phenomenon, and one that I think is going to spark a lot of debate between you and I, is this whole situation with FaceApp. And it's a fascinating application for those that don't know. If you go to our Twitter page at Detroit Podcast, it's an application. I guess it's a Russian-based company that allows you to take a photo, an old photo or a current selfie, and it really produces a high-quality photo. It's an editing application that allows you to take a picture and show what you would look like 50 years down the road. Now, there's other services, there's other type things it does, but the phenomenon that people have posted all over social media is the old age. And Adam and I did it. It's great. You can go see what we look like. But again, as so many people, athletes, celebrities, and social media influencers started posting pictures, people started to then actually investigate FaceApp and go, what is this application? What's this about? It's a Russian-based application, and the thing that caught everyone's attention are the terms of service. If you download the application and take a photo, they now have access to your photos, and they have access to your likeness forever, no matter what. Even if you delete the app, in order for the app to access your photos, you have to grant them permission. And when you hit accept and when you hit OK to the terms of service with FaceApp, then guess what happens? They own your photos in your entire library forever. And everyone's like, oh, first and foremost, people are like, why would Apple allow an application to create those terms of service where they can use your likeness forever? My thing is this, okay? If my face shows up on an ad in Russia, am I ever going to see it?
Well, it won't because you have an ugly face. So
Exactly.
They don't want your face on an ad in Russia. Come on, or anywhere.
Exactly. I'm not going to get paid for it. I'm not ever going to see it. And I think that the good thing for me is I don't have any inappropriate photos of my parts anywhere on my cell phone. So Russia can have photos of me hugging you, me hugging, people that have come to the studio. They can have all those photos. They can have my old photo. They can use it for whatever way they want, and I don't care about it. But I think what freaks people out is Russians. What are they going to do with it? Look, if 150 million people really uploaded all those photos, okay, what are the odds they're going to actually use yours for a monetary gain? 1 in a billion? So
well, depending on what you look like, I think, once again, too. But, that kind of determines whether or not they're going to use your photo or not, for the purpose of an ad.
Exactly. But I do think sometimes maybe people get freaked out, like, what if Russia uses your likeness and says, oh, look, this is a guy that supports Russia or does something in terms of politically, or what can they use it for? Because they own your likeness for whatever they want forever in perpetuity. But first and foremost, I'll ask you this. Do people have a valid complaint that this is a term of service in regards to FaceApp that's just quite ridiculous to put that out there? And two, should Apple, who houses these applications, should they also take some blame for allowing a developer to put a term of service like that on their platform when you can just say, look, you know what? You can't develop applications where you can take people's stuff forever and use their likeness and not compensate forever. But at the same time, they can't review every single application in detail, all the fine print, because I'm sure then what people will do is, to get around it, is send like 1,000-page development and say, here are our terms of service. And who has time to read all that, especially with the plethora of apps that are being developed and sent to the store every single day? You can't. So I say, who cares? Let them have it. But it does go to show, though, that people are definitely paying attention to their privacy, and they should. You should pay attention to your privacy. What say you in terms of things like this? Does it make you wary of downloading an app like FaceApp because of the fact that they have such crazy terms of service?
I would say this. I fear that my likeness or photos are going to be used as part of a little person modeling agency in Russia. Think about that. That could happen.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't want them abusing the privilege of my sexiness and utilizing as part of a modeling agency there in Russia. But on a serious note, I would fear the fact, because of what happened in the 2016 presidential election, which I know you didn't bring up, you're not going to bring up, but because of proven Russian meddling in that election, helping Donald Trump win the presidency, right? Well, it's pretty much proven at this point that it is something to be fearful of because of that. With the 2020 election coming up, and especially for the Democratic presidential candidates, for those Democrats out there that are running for the presidency right now, those guys should fear for their lives when it comes to utilizing this FaceApp. I would say if I was a Democrat right now running for president, I would not be using the FaceApp. And I have a funny thing to say really quick. At least you got a couple of dudes that are so old, that the FaceApp really wouldn't work on them, such as Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. I mean, like, how much older is that FaceApp going to make those dudes look? They're already 70-something anyway, so it wouldn't affect them or damage them. But once again, on a serious note, it's about the potential security breach that could be caused via this FaceApp.
Well, Vito, based on your rhetoric, I'm going to have to send you back to Las Vegas.
Okay, all right, very good. Which I was there once again. I was housed there at one point as part of Area 51.
Send him back. Send him back.
The chant that should have never happened, that Trump should have stopped right away, that he never did. But anyways.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Vito.
Yeah, you don't even know. You don't even know what I'm talking
about.
I
don't know what you're talking about,
no,
to be
you
honest.
have no idea.
And I'll say this.
Just like many other Republicans right now.
I'll say this. I think your life in the last 3 years has probably gotten better. I think I hear you're gaining opportunities. A lot of people are ringing your telephone. So what do you got to complain about? Is your life, let me ask you this, in all seriousness. 2016 election to 2019, is your life drastically worse, better, or the same in terms of your standing in life and how you feel about things? Is your life drastically worse because of the fact that the current president is in office?
It's all right. My life's going all right, but I don't advocate the racist tendencies of the man in office.
Why do you care?
In the White House.
Why do you care?
Because I care about that, because I think the man representing the nation and the leader of the free world should not be a racist. And he's a proven racist at this point, especially after his comments about those Congress women and telling them to go back home to their home countries when 3 of the 4 of them were actually born in the U.S. of A., remember, too.
Okay, so those that are now advocating and want to talk about that, like I said, I don't have a position because I don't even know. I'm ignorant to it because I have a job to do. I have 3 companies to run.
You can have a job and still talk about it and give your opinion.
Yeah.
It's not wrong to give your opinion. You don't like to, don't want to. It's all right, but at the same time, if somebody wants to give their opinion, I think it's all right for them to give their opinion as well.
It's more than all right. It's a free country.
There we go.
My point of view is that it's a waste of time. So does this individual in office hold like an ET type thumb that when it lights up and whatever he spews into the microphone, you just get entranced by it and go, oh, I should do what he says? No, there are some people that do. But guess what? If this gentleman wasn't in office, then I think they would find other avenues because the seed was already planted for them to act a fool. So I'm going to say this, Vito. It's a waste of time to look at those things. I haven't watched CNN, Fox News in a good 5 months. Do I feel like I've missed anything? No. Do I feel like everything's going great? I do know this. The stocks that I've invested in have all gone up. They've gone up 8% in the last 365 days. I'm happy about that. Other than that, I don't care. It's a waste of time because here's the thing. I got a level head. I know to treat people with respect. I know that when I come across anybody of a certain creed, race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, I treat them as a human being. And that's that. And for everyone that's talking about this, it's a big waste of time because I tell you this, what are you going to do about it? You could call him whatever you want. There's still a 52% chance that he's going to be in office for the next 4 years. So what I'm saying is, in the name of happiness, in the name of being more productive, use your time wiser. For you to know about it to that degree means that you're reading it or paying attention to it.
Which I have the right to.
You do. But
that's what I want to do in my free time. You don't want to do it. You'd rather be a social media / Twitter addict.
Exactly.
And read about Matt Stafford being ranked to 79 on Madden.
Exactly.
I'd rather give my time to something that's more meaningful to me, which is the guy and what he's spewing. He's spewing nonsense and he's uttering racist comments. I care more about that than Matt Stafford being ranked 79. I really don't care about Madden. Like, you don't care about President Trump and what he said. I don't care about Matt Stafford being rated at 79, really.
Okay, so then I'll tell you this. What does it do for you to know that? Okay, now you
what
have
does it do for you with Madden to know that Matt Stafford's rated at 79?
Perfect. I then can put out information and run a podcast that gets certain number of people to contribute to the project that I'm funding that has income that's generated. It produces content for the company that's in the realm of sports. That's why I do these things. So for you to know that, or for anybody to know what the president thinks. So I'm going to say to you, okay, let's, for example, say that it's true. Okay, now what? You're just going to keep saying it? All right, so
we can't get him out of office without voting. All of us have to come together and vote to get him out of office. That's true. Or he has to be impeached, which probably isn't going to happen.
That's it. Fine. That's all you got to do. But, you know, this rhetoric, this talk about the president's personality, this is a guy that has the ability to say whatever he needs to say, and people have the right to respond to it in that realm. But what I'm saying is, for people like yourself or others that listen to this podcast, you're wasting your time, in my opinion, by looking at it. It's a complete waste of time. There's so many other things you could be doing that's so more productive, whether it be looking at Area 51, which I think is even more productive than looking at the than listening to what the president's saying. I think that if you focus on other things, people will be happier. And in the name of happiness, productivity, purpose, looking at stupid stuff like what the president's saying and the certain reactions to it is a complete waste of time. It doesn't go anywhere because it's like this. I can take 4 seconds of the last 4 years and ask you, are you pro the president or are you anti? I'm anti-president. Okay, in 4 years, I assume you're not going to vote for him. Go about your business. That's all I'm saying from my position. I don't disregard your position. You can look at it and you can fill me in here on this podcast. But in the name of productivity, in the name of somebody who's successful, talking to the masses, who wants others to be successful and happy, don't worry about it. He could go out there and say, he literally could go into the microphone and say, I believe this. And you're like, okay, I don't believe in that, so I won't do it. And the thing that you should believe is treat everybody with respect, handle your business. If it's not making you money or not making you happy, let's keep it moving. And these issues and these things that people are talking about, waste of time. And good for the president. Like I said, he's trying to backtrack it, I guess, in terms of the pushback and things like that. And good for the politician. She'll get a name for herself and hopefully enact some real change that's more important than what the president's saying. And like I said, Vito, the country's going to be in for a pretty big letdown if this president gets reelected. What are you going to do? You're just going to cry for another 4 years?
Isn't it bad when the country's divided, though? And
No.
I'll say this really quick. Everybody has an opinion. You have the right to be pro-Trump or not to care. I have the right to be anti-Trump. Everybody has a right to their own opinion.
Sure.
But when the guy that's in the White House leading the free world, right, the biggest, the best nation, right, supposedly on planet Earth, when that's the case and that guy is a racist, I have a problem with that.
Okay.
And it just affects me.
You have
And you know
problems
what? As long as he's the president, everybody in this country is not going to be happy. There's never going to be where everybody's going to be happy. Like you said, if you just don't care about it. People do care about it. It's what's going on. It's not going away. Him uttering racist comments is going to continue to happen.
Okay.
And yes, we have to deal with it, but we can react to it the way in which we
but
would like
now,
to as
okay,
well.
Now, putting on my psychological hat, if nobody gives it meaning, then it's just words. There you go. That's
But I
what I'm saying.
can't just utter the N-word right now. What if I just drop the M-bomb? I can't just say that. You can't just say some of the stuff.
I can say whatever I want.
If you did it in your office with the clients, just uttered some racist statements, dropped the M-bomb left and right.
Now-
and with a black client, let's say, how would that work out for you?
Okay, here's
You
what I'm
can't just
saying.
say whatever you want. Words do mean something.
Words do mean
Come on.
something, but as a psychologist, the name of the game is, okay, what keeps people calm? There are people, Vito, who hear that word and don't react to it. They go, oh, you're ignorant.
Sure, but you're going to take the chance to just say it to somebody now?
No.
In your next session that you have?
No, because I'm
That's what I mean. Words mean something.
They mean something, but
Not to everybody. Or words don't mean the same thing to everybody, sure.
okay, so then, Vito, for you, in the next 4 years, if the president remains in office, you'll continue to say these things, and it will mean nothing.
And you'll continue not to care, but I'll continue to say these things and to care. I have the
Exactly.
right to care about this as much as you have the right to care about wrestling.
Vito,
How about wrestling?
Vito.
Which is fake. You watch wrestling all the time. I
Vito,
don't like it, but you
Vito,
watch it because that's what you
we've
want to do.
Established you have the right to say it. What
Yeah.
I'm saying is your time could be used wiser.
What, watching wrestling? I mean, like, what? I don't want to watch wrestling.
Oh, what is? I
It's like you don't want to do some of the stuff that I do. I don't want to do some of the stuff that you
What
do.
gives
We're
something-
all uniquely human.
Okay.
We're all different, right?
I'll put it
'Cause
now
we're-
maybe in a way you can understand.
Okay.
What gives people control? What gives people the perception they have control? The action that they can take. You coming on this microphone or me even talking about Stafford really in the end is insignificant. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you proposing and spouting your opinion on a politician you will never meet, you will never talk to. The only thing you can do is say that I'm against it, which is fine, and then make a vote. But that's 4 seconds. All this stuff we've talked about in the end means nothing. Or you could go out there and you could rally.
Or run for
5,000
office. Maybe I will
You
one
could.
day. Maybe I will pursue a career in politics and take down that shoddy politician in the White House.
Maybe you could do that. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying is focus on what you can control. And in the avenue of interest, I think it's a waste of time to really, in essence, unless you're going to advocate and join a big group of people and do all that kind of work, fine, go ahead and do that. But I think you can use your time more wisely. And a lot of people have done it because, in terms of what people do to be happy, they turn off social media. They don't care about politics. They say, hey, I want to talk about stuff that's a little bit more enjoyable when you talk to people. Politics and religion, talking to people, a lot of times, more often than not, 6 out of 10 times, doesn't result in meaningful conversation and results in angry feelings. So I say, why? I talk about stuff that generally people like to talk about. And that's what I'm saying. So you have a right to talk about it, but I think more and more people, by and large, view it the way I do than view it the way you do. I don't think there's a lot of people that are advocates. Now, the Twitter tough people and the people that are
A lot
online.
of people on Twitter, though.
Yeah.
And it's not just the politicians, and it's not just the people that act all tough. It's human beings like you and I that I think just don't put on a facade and act tough to seem like we're tough when we're not. You know, it's a lot of people still. Remember, you see a lot of stuff about Trump trending on a daily basis.
Great.
There's a reason for that. People care, and just like me, we're not just turning off the TV or ignoring it and acting like it's not going on, that he hasn't said something or done all the stuff that he has.
Okay, so then
that's my point with that.
So then I'll say this. I think the marker will be when the election comes, if all this rhetoric will have affected his polling and whether he'll get elected. And if it does, then potentially speaking, he'll not be in office, and that's the way it'll be.
The sad thing is, he'll probably still get reelected.
And there you go.
After all this. Because I'll admit it, he probably still will get reelected. You know how sad that day will be for the country? Sad day. You won't care, but sad day for the country.
It'll be the same
overall
day.
wise.
Vito,
you'll still operate. We'll still make money, sure.
The next day will be Wednesday, and that's it.
Yeah, and you'll still be all right, right?
I'll be great.
If you have your family, everything's good with that. You're still making your money from the stocks. But I could care less about that when the guy in the office, I could care less, even if I was benefiting a lot from it, which I'm not financially, and because of my current job situation, which could change starting next week, by the way, for the better for me. But I would care less about that when the guy, and I do care less about that when the guy in the White House, once again, leading this free nation, is uttering this nonsense and racist comments. So.
Or I would say this, actually take measures that's going to make change. You saying that does nothing to nobody.
I know right now, it's just an opinion, just like your opinion on other stuff as well.
So then you should go out there and work on and volunteer at anti-racist organizations.
There we go.
And
I should
diverse.
I might pursue a career in politics. I've thought about it more and more. I've been inspired by the guy in the White House.
Good.
I'm like, if he can run for office and become the president, why can't I? Or not really become president. I don't want to become the president, actually. But how about Clinton Township? We joked around about it. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like a year ago? Clinton Township supervisor. I'll take down Bob Cannon. Yeah. He's a current guy right now as a Clinton Township supervisor. Why can't I take his spot one day?
Great stuff.
Once I get a little bit more money, more knowledge. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, that is that. And now, what do we have up next?
Yes. The final topic today on Two Bad Hombres. It's been a good podcast. Very enjoyable. Always goes by quick, having some fun conversations. A lot of players in the NFL, locally and nationally, reacted to the ratings earlier this week that were released by EA Madden 2020. I found it to be very fascinating in that, I think a lot of these guys got big egos, and Matthew Stafford, when a lot of the Lions fans saw, oh my God, this guy got a rating of 79, they took it as a big level of disrespect. Now, some athletes are fair and they don't care. Others took to Twitter and were like, come on, don't talk to me anymore, EA. Don't act like we're friends anymore because you rated me low. A lot of the Lions, though, Vito, were rated pretty low. But at the same time, what level of respect should the Lions realistically have anyway? So just go out there and prove it. Obviously, Snack's got the highest rating, and he's obviously an influencer and a guy that people view in a good light. But I just think that in terms of Matthew Stafford's rating, I put on our Twitter page at Detroit Podcast, I said, do you think it's too high, too low, or just right? We got responses all across the board, all over our Twitter page. For me, I think it was just right. 79 is a perfect rating for Stafford, especially given the fact no division titles, no playoff wins, especially with this 2019 season being a make-or-break season. The 79 rating for Matthew Stafford, just fine.
What do the rankings really mean once again? Has no importance to me. Once again, it doesn't have any importance to me, and how I view it is kind of like you do. Go out and prove yourself on the playing field now. Game in, game out, this upcoming season, get it done. Get some dubs. Go out there, make the playoffs to start off. Maybe win a division as well and win a playoff game. You got to prove yourself. And Stafford truly regressed last season. That Monday night opener. And then a lot of the season. Collectively, when you're talking about Matt Stafford's season last year, it wasn't a great one for him. He did regress. And because of that, what would he be ranked by Madden then? Not much more than a 79. And in the grand scheme of things, to reiterate something I already had said about this ranking and rankings delivered by Madden, I just don't care about it. Just don't care about it, honestly.
So let's say there was a podcast ranking. What would you give me?
Well, I would care about that, by the way, too. 79. How about a 79?
That's not
now,
bad.
what would you give yourself, honestly?
I give
and
myself.
What would you give me? I can't wait to hear what you would give me. Here we go.
I give you an 84.
Wow,
Solid
you would
84.
give me. Okay, well, then you have to give yourself.
Yeah, myself?
What do you give yourself then? Yeah, but let's hear this now.
89.
I just say, I know it's going to be higher.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
89. I do more of them. I produce more of them. I make them all entertaining. So I would say I'm an 89. You're a solid 84.
I'm an 84. You're an 85.
That's good.
I'll give you like a bump up.
There you go.
How about Adam Strozinski?
Adam, solid 87.
So wait, time out.
Exactly.
Higher than me.
Yeah.
Okay. Why
Yeah.
is that? Give me your reasoning now.
Well, one,
Explain yourself, please.
One, more followers on Twitter than you.
Okay, that's fine. Let's hear it. If they're valid reasons, I'm fine with it.
Yep. has more of an outlet to get information across because he works at a radio station, so he's got connections. And the fact is he's bigger than you, he's stronger than you. And
wait, we're just talking about him as a podcaster.
oh, okay, just as overall as
what happened
person.
to my size? Why is my size in the equation now?
Oh, because we've been talking about it. You said you're okay with it, and you have no problems with it, you know?
I don't.
I
don't.
What, are you going to go all bagel guy on me now?
Yeah, yeah, watch out. I'm going right now. Watch out. Get rid of all this equipment on the table.
Vito, actually, the guy's used his platform to make some money.
He's gone viral.
He's got
viral. Women now coming after him, like
Yeah.
what, supermodel women? It's not going to last, though. His 20 seconds of fame, man, it's not going to last. Because what is he talented in? There's no talent, right? What is he, what? Make a fun? I can make fun. I do it all the time. I could do that. Don't you think I could do that? What that guy's doing? Do you think I could do that?
That's what I'm going to ask you,
Right?
actually. After we're done recording, which is going to be the next 2 minutes, do you want to make a video of just you going up to somebody and confronting him?
It's not me, but I could. I could be an actor. I think I can act all right.
Well,
That's what he's doing. He's a
you-
no-talent hat.
I'm going to tell you this. Your acting is a little bit forced. I'll say that. Perfect example. It doesn't come across as natural. You can tell you're acting because you're such a jovial guy. You've been on a lot of things. This
Probably
guy,
because of that too, at
this
times,
guy
yeah.
is an angry short guy, and
Yeah.
people liked it because of the fact too. Psychologically, he got his ass whooped. So they're like, okay,
That was hilarious. I told you. He got pummeled, man.
yeah. So he's now also used his platform to make. He got a manager. He went on some national platforms. He's got a manager now.
Pitiful, man.
So
I could do what he does.
do you want
Come
to go?
on.
Do you want to go viral?
No, I don't want to, but I say I could. I have the ability. What kind of talent does that take? Seriously, what kind of talent do you think he has, that guy?
So are you like judging him because he's giving little people a bad name, and that there's this stigma that what we call it, the short complex, that people have big egos or they try to overcompensate.
Napoleon complex.
Yeah.
See, I don't think I have much of that. Probably a little bit. I have some
you have-
fire. You saw my energy, and I can display that.
Do you have
but
Napoleon complex?
to that extent, no. Not to get pissed and like pissed off at the world, because that guy was pissed off at the world, man. That's not me.
Okay, good. All's good. Great podcast recording. So for Vito, the Madden ratings don't hit. You don't even play Madden, do you? You don't.
I used to a lot. I used to pre-order the game when I was
Okay.
growing up. I haven't played the game though, or bought a Madden 5, 6, probably 6, 7 years at this point, Doc. How about you? When's the last time you've bought a Madden game?
Yeah, it's been about 10 years. Right now, video games are low on the priority scale. Work.
You got too much going on, man. You got 2 kids as well, and your wife at home.
Yes, sir.
I've got none of that, but still, I'm too busy for Madden, at least.
All right, Vito, great podcast recording. You can follow Vito on Twitter at Vito Jerome. Follow the network at Detroit Podcast. Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can find all the shows on the platform. We're up to like 12, 13 shows, some bi-weekly, some every single week. You can find all the shows anywhere that you enjoy finding podcasts, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podomatic, the iHeart app, anywhere at all where podcasts are available. You can find the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. And if you have a free moment, go over to Apple Podcasts, leave a review, rate us 5 stars. It means a lot. A lot of good reviews. I love reading and going there and seeing how people enjoy the podcast. Thanks, Vito. We'll talk soon.
Adios.
I was trying to get it how I live. I want them dead presidents. I want to pull up, head spin, get it.